The Venture Bros is only ambiguous when it is supposed to be ambiguous.
Negative! Stay back, or we'll open bay doors. Entire crew will be terminated.
Had Vendata truly pulled the lever, we would have seen him doing it.
Flynn's Arcade.
Hello, welcome to Flynn's Arcade. This is my deep dive into movie night, the darkest hour of the Venture Bros. I first saw Arrears in Science back in 2018 and it's a masterpiece. But since then it has stuck in my mind because it never explicitly states who was responsible for the movie night tragedy on Gargantua 1, which claimed at least 9,001 souls. But I went on holiday to Spain recently and I got to spend my week away thinking about this. I've come up with a few answers and theories and I've put on my detective's hat.
Smooth.
So I can unpack them all for you now. Gargantua 1 was a vast space station created by Jonas Venture Sr in 1971 and was dubbed the ninth wonder of the world. Everything was fine until that fateful night on April the 9th, 1987, when most of the crew gathered to watch Sharky's machine. Unbeknownst to the crew, a group of villains, Vendata, Red Death, Laugh Riot, Stab Girl, Hatebit and Mr. Fahrenheit had infiltrated the ship. They were on a mission to blackmail Jonas with the VHS tape of his liaison with the Blue Morpho, Jill St. John and Stella Stevens. The heist was to go horribly wrong when someone or something opened the hangar bay doors. All the moviegoers and 4 of the villains met their doom in the vacuum of space. Unsurprisingly, the event had serious consequences and kicked off the Pyramids Wars, which I'm not going into today, but it may be the topic for another video.
Playing with his Lincoln Logs. Oh my God, it's full of stars! Penny for his thoughts.
Whilst the prime suspect for the massacre was Vendata, something about this never sat right with me. Vendata never confessed to the atrocity.
I'm telling you, it couldn't have been me. I'd remember that.
It was never an open and shut case, so the mystery of movie night played on my mind. But at some point, I read a fan theory that Buzz Manstrong was responsible. It stacked up, so for years I believed this. But recently, upon giving the theory more thought, I have some serious doubts. Buzz Manstrong worked as an astronaut on Gargantua 1 with his on-off girlfriend, Lieutenant Boldovich. He was the longest serving member of the crew because prior to this he held the role of paperboy back in 1987, meaning he was there for movie night, which he somehow survived. The fan theory is that Buzz somehow acquired a copy of Jonas's sex tape, and either because he was so shocked to see his idol behaving in a way which he saw as immoral, or because he'd gone into a fugue state because he was weirded out by anything to do with sex, he wandered off to open up the hangar bay doors. He then moved on to have no recollection of the alleged incident. When trying to ascertain guilt, it is wise to consider whether the suspect had the motive and opportunity to commit the crime. By virtue of being on Gargantua 1 on that fateful night, Bud definitely had the opportunity, but he lacked a motive. We don't know for sure that he saw the sex tape, and even if he did, there is nothing to indicate that he would take such drastic action. Whilst he has form for behaving strangely around anything sexual, we have only really seen this under the extreme duress of him getting an H job from his girlfriend when Gargantua 1 was about to crash, which is understandable. Whilst he has the capability for violence, as we saw when he challenged Brock to fisticuffs.
Okay, get up! We're doing this! You and me, Samson, right now! Let's go!
He was more than upfront about it. A stealth move like sneakily opening the doors just wasn't in his nature. Admittedly, he did once attempt to assassinate the president,
Mr. President, this man's an assassin programmed to kill you. There's a microchip in his brain, look!
But there was a Manchurian candidate situation going on, which means he can't be held responsible for his actions. Buzz Manstrong was a complete Boy Scout. There was nothing in his character to indicate that he could mastermind such a horrible scheme. He even went on to tell a spooky ghost story about movie night to Hank and Dean.
And under the flickering light of Burt Reynolds' Sharky's machine, he opened the bay doors. Almost the whole crew was there. Sharky's machine.
There's no way such an uptight guy could pull this off. I don't know who came up with this theory, but I believed it for years. I think it stuck with me mostly because it's funny. Plus, I never really liked Buzz Manstrong, so I was happy to believe it. But now I think he was 100% innocent. I also think he survives movie night because Sharky's Machine is a racy film, and as a result it was a bit too rich for his blood, so he went to bed early that night, a decision which would save his life.
I have difficulty connecting with people. Some of my co-workers have been razzing me about it.
Vendata is the prime suspect for movie night. He was a criminal and was on Gargantua 1 for nefarious purposes. He was part of a gang of new wave villains who were eager to make a name for themselves, so they'd gone rogue to commit an unsanctioned arch, blackmailing Jonas Venture. Vendata had the opportunity to commit the massacre because he was seen in the room containing the lever for the hangar bay doors, but we never actually saw him pull the lever. He also had a motive. When Jonas reminded him of his past as a blue Morpho, he could have easily flown into a rage when he remembers all the terrible things that Jonas did to him.
I need you to make the Mirror Miser disappear. I need you to seduce Dr. Z. I'm fresh out of plutonium.
The Venture Bros doesn't shy away from depicting disturbing events. We all remember the Monarch's shocking encounter with Dr. Dugong.
Look into my eyes!
Or the ultraviolence when the original Team Venture stormed Spider Skull Island.
Action! Action! Action, 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 action!
Whoa, 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 Rodney! What are you doing?
What? I'm winning the day!
I'll take it down a notch. I mean, Hook is a mindless savage, and even he knows when to pull his punches.
The Venture Bros is only ambiguous when it is supposed to be ambiguous. In my opinion, had Vendata truly pulled the lever, we would have seen him doing it. The fact that we didn't is my first piece of evidence that he wasn't the culprit. My second piece of evidence was the fact that he couldn't remember pulling the lever. He recalled everything that happened on Gargantua 1 up until the tragedy, but he had no recollection of pulling the lever. Whilst Vendata can be seen as an unreliable witness, he had died and been resurrected twice, and he had been on the receiving end of a kicking by Brock, which might have scrambled him. But when he had the confrontation with Jonas over Scuzzy,
I think they're talking to each other. What is it, Scuzzy?
he was completely lucid. He also had no reason to lie. And crucially, when the OSI and the Guild made the difficult decision to dismantle him, it was only for the crimes of the Blue Morpho and the death of Jonas.
OSI Guild will take joint custody of Vendata. He'll be disassembled for the murder of Jonas Venture and crimes of Blue Morpho.
There was no mention of the massacre.
Come on out, Scaramantula! You're finished!
Well, if it isn't the Blue Morpho. If you think you can just waltz in here and muscle in on my racket, you've got another thing coming to that.
It's another think coming. God!
Don Fitzcarraldo, aka the Blue Morpho, was an enigmatic figure. Even his own son Malcolm was shocked to learn that his dad wasn't the boozed-up socialite he remembered him to be.
No way he could have been a superhero!
Don't
Ow!
you dare!
Dude, Millionaire Playboy is like the #1 superhero alter ego. Come on, butterflies? Think about it. Blue Morpho.
What the fuck is a Morpho?
he had a complex secret identity as a superhero, and when Malcolm took on the role of the Blue Morpho himself, he became just as secretive. Even his wife Sheila, who is known to be one of the most intelligent and sensible characters in the Ventureverse, couldn't figure out that her husband was moonlighting as the Blue Morpho, despite her focusing all her efforts onto tracking him down and bringing him to justice.
Do not. No. I know you're in there. If you're trying to hide, you shouldn't have picked a place with your big fucking face on it.
She kinda has a voice.
Shut up and get us out of here.
Nice try, but you're not gonna get very far with that boot on your car. Now come out of there with your hands up.
Don Fitzcarraldo wasn't just shadowy about being the Blue Morpho. He was shadowy as part of his duties as the Blue Morpho. He once managed to pose as tennis ace Billie Jean King to seduce Dr. Z.
No, I was sent here by Jonas Venture.
And he had a habit of using decoys to help with his schemes.
Dude, I think he might be a robot. Maybe your dad made life model decoys of himself, like Nick Fury in Strange Tales number 135.
Vendata may have retained some of Don's skills from his Blue Morpho days. For a while, I ran with the theory that there had been two Vendatas in 1987, the one who opened the bay doors and the one who was confronted by Jonas. However, I decided that this couldn't be the case because of the scene where Vendata entered the Morpho cave.
Blue Morpho. Blue Morpho.
You are the Blue Morpho.
I am the Blue Morpho.
I remembered talking to Jonas on Gargantua 1. In the iconic scene when Jonas and Vendata argue in front of the lever to the hangar bay doors, it initially appears that the lever is a Chekhov's gun. But I now think that the lever is a red herring. I think the real Chekhov's gun is the sex tape which Vendata is brandishing. Jonas had just put the VHS for Sharky's machine into the VCR and then left an emotionally fragile Vendata alone in the room. When Vendata was left with his own thoughts, I don't think he pulled the lever, I think he switched the tapes so 9,000 people would see what the squeaky clean Jonas got up to in his spare time. It was served Jonas right because he used that tape to manipulate the Blue Morpho for years. One of the ways Jonas maintained power and control was via his image of a brave super scientist and family man. He was meticulous about the PR machine and had fun for doing things such as airbrushing corpses of henchmen out of group photos. Had 9,000 people seen his sex tape, it would have ruined him. He had to act fast. The lever in the VHS room isn't the only one in Gargantua 1. Back in Careers in Science, we saw Dr. Venture pushing buttons which operated every function on the space station, including the cargo bay doors, which almost killed Brock, and he switched off the gravity device which caused Dr. Venture to get knocked unconscious. It was more than possible that in his panic, Jonas rushed to the control panel and pushed the button to open the hangar bay doors and killed off all the witnesses rather than face reputational destruction. He then leapt into the voids of space, knowing that his colleagues in Team Venture will soon be there to save him with the problem device. He just didn't plan for them dropping him, thus making his resurrection even more difficult than he originally imagined. If I can pin something on Jonas, I will do. But in the interest of fairness, I feel the need to mention a few of the potential suspects.
I have like 25 charisma points. I want to seduce her.
No, don't! It's Leslie!
Dr. Venture has a strong alibi. He wasn't even on Gargantua 1. He was busy studying at State University. Whilst making this video, I realised that because he was 10 in 1971, he should have been 26 years of age during movie night. He clearly wasn't a mature student in those days, so what was going on? It all started to make sense when I remembered that he'd been cloned and resurrected on several occasions, which means he had lost a few years.
So, how did you hear about the Revenge Society?
It's always worth considering Scare Bear might be the culprit for anything weird, but the massacre simply wasn't his style. Whilst he is undoubtedly creepy, he mostly doesn't do anything. He just stands around looking menacing, and on the one occasion he actually did something. He did something good. He saved Hank's life, so an actual massacre would be really out of character.
Brick Frog! Thank you! Oh, worse than useless.
Brick Frog only has two skills: brick throwing and frog being. Movie night was way too difficult for him to pull off.
Holy moly, look at my date! She's a super villain, possibly a Medusa.
Kim is slightly more feasible. While she wasn't even born in 1987, this isn't an alibi. She could have used Grover Cleveland's presidential time machine to go back in time to cause a massacre because, as promised, she had grown up to become a supervillain and she wanted to f shit up for the Ventures.
Go Team Venture!
Dude, I warned you.
I think I just found my first arch enemies.
Movie Night Massacre was the last instalment of the Morphic Trilogy from Season 7. The whole thing was rounded off really nicely, but it left a loose end with the Jonas's head storyline.
Dad, I wish you could see this, but you're dead.
Brock wanted it for Tess, so I'm pretty sure that had the show continued, Jonas would have returned and would have finally got some closure as to what actually happened on movie night. I wouldn't have been surprised to see the return of Vendata too, considering that he managed to cheat death twice and survived a kicking from Brock. I think the guy was immortal. So, thanks to everyone who has made it this far. Let me know what you think. Who do you think was responsible for movie night? What do you think about my theory about the sex tape potentially ruining Jonas's squeaky clean image and his drastic attempts to prevent this from happening? If you don't know what to write, please drop an ignore me or a sphinx or a spanakopter, because comments really help with the algorithm. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've made a lot of videos about Adult Swim shows which you might enjoy. Hello to any newcomers and welcome back to all my subscribers. Thank you so much to my channel members. You guys are awesome. I'm going to give you a shout out in this video's end screen, so please stick around for that. And check out my members monthly update video. I have 2 levels of membership: the Guild of Calamitous Intent and the Peril Partnership, so please consider signing up for membership if you can, because it really helps the channel. Add me on Instagram, add me on Blue Sky, the link is in my bio. So that's all from me. I upload videos every weekend, so unless anything comes up before then, I'll see you next time.